Hello and welcome to a brand spanking new flight simulator video. Well, this is going to be most likely my last video before Christmas. And I thought to myself, how am I going to make this one a little bit special? Well, we're going back to what could possibly be the greatest military aircraft here on Flight Simulator. This is the Just Flight Vulcan, Avro Vulcan, B Mark II. And we're going to do something a little bit special. Now, I am a huge fan of the Vulcan, a huge fan of Cold War aviation, and I thought to myself, I will be doing flying videos of the Vulcan, I will be doing navigational videos of the Vulcan, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I wanted to make this as realistic as I possibly could, and it will involve this aircraft never leaving the ground. You might be thinking, you're nuts, that's not what airplanes are for. If we come out of the flight simulator and go to real world, we have 3 live Vulcans here in the United Kingdom. We have XH558, of which we are sitting in front of right now. We have XL426, based down in Southend, and XM655, based at Wellesbourne Mount. Now, all 3 of these Vulcans, well, let's just say Southend's 426 and Wellesbourne Mount 655, do fast taxis. And it is a chance for people to get alongside a Vulcan and see it go down the runway. Obviously, they are not allowed to fly anymore in the United Kingdom, so this is the best we can do to seeing a Vulcan on nearly full throttle. Now, I say that only 426 and 655 do this at the moment. 558, based at Doncaster Airport, does not do, as yet, full fast taxis down the runway. It does engine events that you can go to, but 426 and 655 do events, 2 or 3 events a year, based, like I say, at Wellesbourne Mount and at Southend Airport, where they do run their Vulcans down the runways. Now, 426 and 558 are the 200 series engines, sorry, the 201 series engines, the ones that howl, and 655 is the uprated 300 series engines, which does not howl. So we have chosen 558 to replicate a fast taxi event. Obviously, we are not at Doncaster Airport. I don't have Doncaster scenery, not detailed enough. I do, however, have Waddington, which is an RAF base and an ex-home base for XH558. In fact, actually, this particular repaint comes from RAF Waddington. This is not 558 as she is currently now at Doncaster. Currently now she has the Spirit of Great Britain stenciled on the side of the nose here, and also names underneath the wings and in the bomb bays and all that sort of stuff. This particular repaint comes from the Vulcan display flight, which ended in the, I'm going to quote, somewhere in the mid-90s, when the Vulcan was finally retired out of RAF service. This one is accurate as of the Vulcan display flight. The only thing she's missing is the farewell lettering in the bomb bay. But other than that, this is an RAF Vulcan. So, what we are going to do, we are going to start the aircraft up and we are going to hear from the external side what it sounds like for a Vulcan to start up all 4 engines. We're not doing a rapid engine start, we're just doing a conventional engine start, which will be engines 3, 4, 1 and 2 in that order. We will then be taxiing out, if I could just get this to work, taxiing out of its main taxiway onto the runway, and we will do 2 high-speed runs. This will involve taking the aircraft to about just over 100 knots, putting the nose back down, putting the air brakes out, trundling to 3/4 to the end of the runway, and we will taxi back up the runway to do another high-speed run. We will then taxi back in again, and we'll be parking up somewhere over here, just where C-130 is. Because obviously Just Flight did such a fantastic job of the audio of this aircraft, like I said, externally we will be hearing the engine starts, and we will also be hearing the fantastic 4-engine howl on the runway. So this one's going to be less of me talking and more of the aircraft doing what she does best, and that's having a damn good howl. So let's jump inside the cockpit. So right, we'll turn TrackIR on, and we are currently set up ready for the engine start. We'll check that all the... Yep, we've got the throttle set, PFC's alive, we have ground power and Palouse connected. Bob over here looks a little bit scared, but what could possibly go wrong? Lights that we'll be paying attention to is the air brake light to indicate the air brakes have been deployed. We will not be, like I say, taking off the aircraft, but we will be getting our speed to 110 plus knots, I would say. That will give it plenty enough time to howl down the runway and still being able to stop without use of using the drag chute. So let's get set up for the most interesting part of this aircraft, and that is the engine starts. Remember, we'll be starting engine 3 first, and we're going 3, 4, 1 and 2. So, less of me talking, more of the aircraft. And we have 4 good starts. So, we'll just turn off TrackIR for a minute. Palouse and ground power coming off. Bob bay doors are shutting. Remove all the chocks. Ground power has been removed. Just waiting on Palouse. Palouse is gone. And we'll have the crew door shut now, please. Crew door shut. Checking all the PFCs are not illuminated. So, let's roll out to the main runway. One thing you'll notice about taxiing the Avro Vulcan is the nose wheel is so far beneath you. It looks like you've misturned, but really you have to go past your turning point before you start the turn. We'll check the spoilers or air brakes. Air brake light is indicated. Air brake's going back in. Lights out, air brakes are in. Now before we roll out onto the runway for the 4-engine howl, normally I like to get the audio as good as 50-50. Obviously I want the aircraft to be heard, but I also want myself to be heard. This one's different, so I make no apologies for this. This is going to be loud. So this is your warning. I am going to put the aircraft on the end of the runway and I'm going to put the external camera on, and we are going to hear 4 Olympus engines howling while the aircraft is stationary. So this is your warning. If you're listening with a headset, this is going to be loud. Parking brake is set. And the party piece of the Vulcan, the sounds. Just Flight, you did your work, you did your homework. So, parking brake has been released. We're going to rev the engines up and we'll sit on the brakes, and we will then be accelerating to around about 110 knots before instigating spoilers out, air brakes out even. Air brakes on the Vulcan, not spoilers. Nose back down, and we will then be going onto the brakes, and then we will be taxiing back up the runway to this position for a second run. So, sit back, you won't hear me talking at this point, it'll be all down to the aircraft. Air brakes retracting. So as you can see, this 4-engined Cold War strategic nuclear bomber is very fast on her feet. And unfortunately this is the only real way, or the real version I should say, not the flight simulator, but as I said at the start of the video, XH558 does engine runs. You can stand underneath the aircraft and listen to one of the engines being revved up. It's on an engine bay section of the airfield, not on a runway or anything like that, but they do rev one of the engines up to the point where she howls. XL426 based at Southend Airport, another 201 series engines, Vulcan like 558, will howl and does regular events, very well looked after Vulcan. XM655 being a uprated 300 series engines Vulcan, doesn't howl as much. Same airframe, but uprated engines, for some reason she doesn't howl. Again, Wellesbourne mount, they do events where they do fast taxis, including trying to get the nose up and also putting out the drag chute. And that's all you're ever going to see now of a Vulcan. It's very unlikely we're ever going to see a Vulcan fly in the UK, or anywhere in the world for that matter. A shame, because it used to be a highlight of the British air show season. Any air show with a Vulcan was definitely worth seeing. So once again, we will line up for centerline, and we will do another 4-engine howl stationary. After the howl is complete, we will be doing another fast taxi run, and we will be turning off to go back to parking. So once again, the Just Flight sound system, or sounds recorded for the Avro Vulcan. Every time I take the Vulcan out, I have to do a rev up like that. It's just amazing. The sounds that Just Flight got for the Vulcan are second to none. It's just amazing. Even the 300 series engines, again, sound very accurate. They don't, like I say, have the howl, but they are very accurate. So, coming off parking brake, sitting on wheel brakes, rev up to about 50%. Brakes off, let's go. Bit of aerodynamic braking. Air brakes travelling. airbrakes are in. I just wanted to say, while we are trundling back to our parking position, obviously this will be the last video I do before Christmas. I want to have a little break. I'll just want to take this chance to say thank you for the people that have supported the page, the people that have watched these videos. It's still something new to me. Flight simulation is not new to me, but doing a YouTube channel for flight simulation, that is new. And yeah, in the new year we'll be seeing more of the Avro Vulcan. We'll be seeing more Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 content, ranging from GA aircraft all the way to full-on military. I will be dabbling with different ideas, different series of videos. Some will work, some will not. But like I say, I just wanted to say big thank you. I know this channel is still very new. I think I've only got something like 13, 14 videos out. And it is still very new. But I think I'm sitting at something like 24 subscribers. I know I'm not doing this for the numbers, and I'm certainly not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for the love of aviation and flight simulation. And if it wasn't for people supporting the page by subscribing to it and just watching the content and putting comments on there, you know, I wouldn't be able to do this. I like sharing this hobby that has been part of my life for so many years. There are a few aircraft that are extremely good. I always rave about the A2A Comanche 250, and I still say in the GA world that there is no better aircraft on simulator than the Comanche 250. However, if you're looking for military, the Just Flight Avro Vulcan is simply put second to none. As a whole package, sounds, cockpit, functionality, handling, it does the lot. And as we've heard so far, the sounds on this aircraft are absolutely amazing. A very iconic part of the Avro Vulcan is its sounds, and Just Flight nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. So, engine 1 shutting off. If he gets the right part of the clip, there we go. And we'll open the crew door. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this will be my last video of this year, or this before Christmas. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found something a little bit more unique than all the other videos that have shown the Avro Vulcan doing what it does best, i.e. staying in the sky. Come the new year, I will be going back to the Avro Vulcan, and I will be doing videos showcasing flying the Vulcan, handling the Vulcan, navigating the Vulcan, amongst many other aircraft. So don't just think this is a military website or military YouTube channel, but the Vulcan is going to be a big part of my channel. So once again, thank you very much for supporting me and my YouTube channel, and I can't wait to see you all in the virtual skies come the new year.